kitchen. And Eric said to him, basically, didn't you do it for Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Tommy wanted Corey,
Yeah.
that's all, but that's natural. I mean, come on. If you're the city manager, are you gonna pick someone that's, relates with you?
Say that Corey's done.
Huh?
You get him to say that Corey's done.
No, Corey's, I wouldn't do, well, no, I wouldn't count on that, buddy, I'll tell you.
You're right.
Well,
You're a fan of,
You know how, well, you know how I've said that early, like you know, but, ooh, watch out, I'm telling you, the sleeper right now, there's always a sleeper. I'm looking at certain signs and, you know, the real,
Oh, wait a second, Bobby.
John's time, you know, what John says about the Democratic Party, the machine. Well, Belvedere's the hardest working,
Let's try it now. We're good now.
okay. Welcome back. If you couldn't hear us, we're
Well,
having maybe
we
a
had no
little,
volume. That was weird.
that's okay. The
Thanks for
Dawn,
letting me know. Appreciate it.
the Dawn Patrol is part of our show, and at 2 hours we're here. One's the Dawn Patrol and one's City Life, and both of them to me have been a tremendous asset for me, that's for sure.
Right.
I meet people and
Drink it on this
Mark.
channel. Here, Bob or Tom. Have a good day. Goodbye.
This is. I
Yeah.
love this gal. What do
That
you?
voice sounded familiar.
Wait a second. I'm gonna play it again. I love. She calls it drinketeer. Play.
Good morning, Mr. John. This is the Drinketeer. You have no volume out here in Drink It on this channel.
You're the best.
Bob or
Thanks very much.
That
You should
voice
be all
sounded.
better now.
That voice sounded familiar.
That's okay. Nice gal.
Yeah.
So we
Thank
have,
you.
we have volume now, you think?
Yeah, you're all set.
Okay.
put
Even
my
when,
earbud back. I'm
even
gonna
when
go
there's
the other
some
room.
technology difficulties and we go off the air or you don't hear our voice, we just keep on rolling because it's like practice.
Right, right.
You know, we want to talk to you about what we feel about what's going on in our cities and what's going on in Drake it, you know, and I know I want to talk about Lowell elections right now, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie about that because to me it's the most important time in my lifetime. I'll be 71 in October, and I see change coming. I really do. Most people that I meet, the top three things is always they don't want their property taxes to go up. I said, don't worry about it. It only went up 2.5%, I think, this time. They got the best budget they ever seen in their life, and they were all so happy and glad, all of them. No, but the thing is, for me, the one thing that's bothering me more in life than anything is taxes. I mean, I even have to add 50 a week extra for my federal taxes. You know, they said I owed them $2,500, so I add 50 a week out of my check to pay them. I said, all right, 50 times 52, I'm all set.
Right.
Next year comes, this year I owed them $800. Nothing changed.
Right, right.
You know, well, the things that have changed is prescriptions, okay? Prescriptions for me. I have 7 of them, and 2 of them cost me $90. So that's a good start,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
2 prescriptions, 90 and 90, $180. The other ones are like $10. Sometimes the needles that I buy, maybe $60, $50. It adds up.
Yep, yep.
So if you don't keep working as you know, even though you're 71, I'm going to work, I hope, and I feel good. I hope I work till like 75. So, and I'm running for schools because it's been in my heart my whole life. And I'm only,
You started putting signs yet?
I have like 10 signs up.
Okay,
I
good.
got
I got 2 locations for you. That's
Oh,
before we
you're the
leave.
best,
My
you're the
brother and
best.
my son. Yeah.
You're the best.
Yeah.
But what I got is, when it comes to signs, I say, hold on. But some people have them all out all over Belvedere, except Corey Belanger. I think that's a good move by him.
Yep.
That's, so that, you know, my thing in Lowell right now is I see things changing again. You know how I was easy to tell you, oh, I think it's going to be Finn and Gendron, right? I said that many, many
Yeah,
times.
I agree.
Too early to say that, but I love saying it because I'm going to work for Danny Finn. Only for one reason I'm going for Dan Finn. And it's because I feel on the school side of things, we got the best mayor we ever had. How's that? And you've heard me say it
Yep.
1,000 times,
Yep.
Dan Rourke. But on the city side of government, I'm not that happy with him as the mayor there. But there's a lot of reasons, because I think few city councilors have been led around by the nose, okay? Right by the nose, they've been led around by the mayor on the city side of issues. If they weren't, Eric Gitcher would get 6 votes now and then, come on. But let me just say this. The schools are the most important issue in the city, and Danny Rourke scored. He scored. He got me for life.
From day one.
Day one,
started,
he
yeah.
got me for
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Bingo. But on the city side, like I said, I'm not a happy camper. And that's why I went to Finn, because one thing, when you meet Danny Finn, and you will if you live in District 3, because that's what I asked him the other night at his party at Cobblestones, and he had a good one. I said to him, have you done what I said? You know, have you done what you said to me early? This is how he picked me up, that he was going to go door to door as much as he could and meet everybody he could in District 3. Now I said, all right, I want to help you, because I want winners. I worked for Karen Casella. What happened for her? It took me 2 terms working for her. But, then I'm going to work for Eric Gitcher until my shoes wear out. And Danny Finn. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm also going to work for the people of Lowell, and I'm going to tell you how that election is. That's a wide open
More
election.
importantly, Bob, you got to work for Bob Hoey.
Oh, yeah, that is.
That's
Listen,
more importantly.
hey, listen, my father brought me up right, and I worked hard for Karen Casella.
Yeah.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
Work hard for Eric Gitcher.
Yeah.
And they know it anyways.
Yeah.
They're not going to come out. I wouldn't come out, and don't come out and say, oh, I'm for Bob Hoey. Your friends know already who worked for you.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's the way I think. And I know there's only 2 ways to run. This is my 8th election, don't forget, in Lowell.
Yep.
And if someone else is out there, like just because we have a McDonough running for District 4,
He might be related.
hold on, he could be related to you or not. That young lady that was flirting with coming out, and I know who she is. She's from back Central Street. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you still come out, June 10th.
Well, I hope she does.
June 10th,
Yeah.
just pick up your papers. Just pick them up and tell them, I'm going to run for District 4, okay? You pick up your papers, you go out and get your 150 signatures, but get 200, because some of them might not be good.
Yep.
And then you can always say, I don't want to run. But if you're prepared, your name will go on the ballot. And I'm telling you, I don't care who you are, especially the one I'm thinking of that hasn't come out yet. I think you could win. But even though it's a McDonough now that looks like he's the hot ticket right in District 4, we
Yeah.
need more people out all over the place. Belvedere, where I live, District 3, I'm hearing rumors about another name. And I'm hoping it ain't Dave Nagel, but I'll tell you, nobody is campaigning harder right now when you talk about going to parties, shaking people's hands, all those things that politicians do. Nobody is working harder than Dave Nagel right now. Nobody.
For
No.
what?
I don't know. He's just meeting people.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
dressed.
ask him,
He's in a
okay,
suit.
Dave.
Listen, I'm just saying what I see,
Well,
John.
I'm just saying what he told me. He told me about a month ago that he's going to run. He's going to run for rep again. That's what he told me.
He's going to run for rep already?
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Good for him.
So
But
I mean,
that's-
I don't think he's. I mean, unless he's changed his mind, and decided to run for the seat in the council. But
You know who I've been seeing at parties? Not dressed up in a suit, but taking pictures of himself catching big mouth bass. Honest to God, fish big mouth bass about a 2.5 footer. Pangy. At every party. Don't tell me that guy doesn't have a lot of clout and Lowell. A lot of friends. He's got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I'm one for sure. Look at what the Hoeys, the redheaded Hoeys, have accomplished knowing Pangy. Look at what Dave Nagel has accomplished knowing Pangy.
And he paid his dues. He made a mistake, and I mean, if people are going to forget that, I don't know. But
You know how you come out of retirement if you wanted to. Pangy come out for retirement, he could run for anything still.
Yeah.
Really, he could. In my eyes, this is an opinion show.
Hey, Bobby. Pangy, I like the guy.
Yeah,
I hold no grudge with Dave Nagel.
yeah.
They're both way too old.
No, I know
Now,
that.
sit back,
Trying to make-
encourage, get a kid to run.
Buddy, I'm trying to make a show today, okay? And I'm just
And
saying.
you are. I'm just
I'm
pushing
just
back.
saying.
You said you were going to push me around
well,
today.
they're
I'm
both.
still
They're
waiting.
Well, if
but in
you
all
watch-
fairness,
if
they're
you-
both younger than Rita Mercia.
That's right. So listen to
I mean-
this. You know, I agree. I don't think
I
you.
mean-
I don't.
Rita
either.
should encourage Chrissy to run.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I think you should run. Look at what
Chrissy's got the energy, she's got the charm.
McFadden has done to me. Danielle McFadden. Because I didn't think anybody was going to come out and run against Jackie and Connie. It's time to go.
Yep.
That's what my friends are telling me all over the streets. Everybody I meet, it's time to change. We need change in federal government, change in state government. We need change in local government. And I believe the city council, you got, in my opinion, 1, 2, 3 are in, they better be working hard because they got competition and people are working hard. The new people are working really hard. And watch out. I told you a few times about 6-2. I'll just say his first name. That's it. I see his signs attached to Belinda Giron. What's that tell you? If you know politics and law, signs, when they get combined, I
You
like,
associate with people.
hey, I like
yeah.
when there's two signs. like Finn and Belanger. When I see that, oh, does that
On the
make-
same property?
Yeah, same property. I want to go
Yeah,
out and knock
man.
on the door and say something, but, you know, that's the way it is. But watch out in this race. This race in District 3, come on. We vote. District 3, I live in it. I live in it now. My wife says I've been living in it my whole marriage, which is coming up on 50
And
years.
you're saying like District 4. You said District 3, they come out and vote. Will
District
4
3.
No,
Oh.
District 3 comes out and votes.
Yeah.
Will District 4 come out and vote, no matter how many candidates?
you know-
Some people, some of those districts, they don't vote.
I would say the truth, if you want to know what I feel, it's the guy down in the Mills, which is the guy that just put his name in. He lost. Do yourself a favor, Dave, don't run. Yeah, well, you can say it that way, but you can't stop certain people. You can't stop me. You're not going to stop me.
Well, what's it look at in my estimation? Most of the state reps, excluding Colleen Gary and Rodney Elliott, it's HR for the state. If you want a job, go get a hold of your state rep. You want a job at the Registry of Motor Vehicles or UMass Lowell, go talk to your state rep.
Yeah.
They're HR for the state. You want to get on the board of horses, whatever board you want to get on, call your state rep. That's all they do.
Yeah. Well,
Why do you say, with the exception of Elliott and Gary?
Gary, Colleen Gary,
Yeah.
Rodney Elliott are down there advocating to get a better community for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
I don't see Vanna Howard, the Cowardly Lion, is my nickname for her.
well,
Tara Hung, he's coming next Monday.
yeah,
He's just getting up to speed. Charming guy. He's going to be a mover and shaker. But right now, he's just on the learning curve.
Yeah, I'd question that a little bit too. I
Oh,
think,
he's already got opposition for next year.
yeah, I think we're really in bad shape as
Who's
far
got
as this.
opposition?
I don't know who it is.
Who?
The kid you just said, the kid that's coming on next Tuesday.
Oh, Tara?
Hung, yeah.
He's got no worries.
We need to clean the clock at the state level. State and federal,
Yeah.
they need that. Massachusetts, we're not represented real well.
Well, it's not going to happen, Bob. You know,
Makes you wanna
I
not
agree,
travel
but-
around the
but
country.
You see it all the time, and term limits, you'll never see it. Even though a good Phil Shea always said to me, term limits is every election because you can be voted out every election, but people won't take people on. They're afraid to. You know.
Well, I like like my friend, I grew up with Marty Laurie. I know Marty
Yeah,
very well.
yeah,
He
same
loves
here.
I got to get Marty back on the
he's
show.
always been really, in my eyes, a strict Democrat.
Get Kreskin in here.
Not
He's
anymore.
ridiculous.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
I'm just saying the
Yeah.
way I always watched him.
Oh, he's a big
was
Democrat.
good. I followed him
And he
a
got
lot.
disappointed.
I thought
He got
I thought
disappointed in
Marty
the
did
system.
more for
Who are
children.
you
and
talking
law.
about?
Marty
Marty
Laurie
Laurie.
right now. I just think Marty, as a city councilor, did more for the kids and parks and stuff like that, recreation, than anybody.
But
he got stuck in some type of issue. People wanting to build a home somewhere. There was an issue that took him down, just like COVID took my buddy
Oh,
Mike.
Joe Mendonça, the chickens killed him.
Mike Dillon.
Speaking of
He's the
chickens.
worst. Mike Dillon, come on. Mike Dillon was the worst case of union going after somebody than I ever seen in my life. All because he said, just what I've said 100 times, or maybe 1,000 times. Get up off the couch. Elevate your heart. Take care. I mean, what was wrong with that? That was his main message. And this union, Paul George's, they should be ashamed of themselves. And the union at a federal level should be ashamed of themselves coming after a young man like that was a teacher, that's a fireman, that only cared about getting all of us up off a couch. And he got fried. Boop, right out.
yeah.
Just one time. That COVID hurt a lot of people. High schools hurt a lot of people. High school's a beautiful issue to talk about in Lowell, isn't it? Really, think about that. When you say to high school, oh, we should have built that. Hey, Carly, Mr.
Oh,
Hoey.
you're going to hear that
No,
forever.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hoey. I say, listen. That's what I wanted downtown. I did well out of Lowell High School, and I dropped out of it because I hated it. And there's only about 1,500 kids that hate it. Just like but where are they going to go? They're not going to go in the Army like me, Tom.
Yeah.
They're going to go to your streets. And what are we doing? Closing prisons. In Massachusetts, I mean, this,
Yeah, they're gonna.
this
they're gonna
state is
make
whacked.
More housing with the prisons.
Hey, Dave Nagel, I got to get back to him for just a minute. This state, okay, this state of Massachusetts is whacked. And Dave Nagel, even no matter if he had gambling problems, I don't care what he did. You know, we can go back in history.
Everybody's made mistakes.
We can go back in history and look at a lot of different people that could come out after that and get reelected. Number one, right?
Yeah.
So as far as the state level, if I just heard you right, and Dave said he's running for Vanna Howard, is that
Yeah,
her
that's
name?
what I'm hearing.
Her
That's
seat
what
to
he
get his
made an
back.
indication
He
to me.
made that mistake coming out too quick. He should have let the race go. We might have had Occasion, the hockey coach, run if Dave didn't run. You know, after Dave got in trouble, he come out and run against
Right.
Howard and lost too soon.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
stayed out one term, let Occasion, the hockey coach from Lowell High School, run, which I think that kid would have beat her easy, but they stayed out because Nagel was in. And that's what hurt Dave. But if he comes back right now, Dave Nagel, only because of this one reason. I don't know all his aides, but I know my cousin Brian Hoey was one of his aides. And that Dave gets all the credit. But the constituent service stuff, when you needed anything, you called Brian Hoey, and there was another guy. Oh, Dave had a few. It wasn't
Same
just
thing.
Brian
Bobby
Hoey.
Spinney. I mean,
There's the
yeah,
name. That's
yeah.
it. And I see
Bobby
him at the
Spinney,
Immaculate now.
yeah,
He
yeah.
does some church work.
Yeah, he works. Yep, I see him down the shrine a lot.
But
him and Hoey were the two guys, key guys in his Dave's office. I mean,
yeah, and who can't say me? I got to say it right now. He helped my family, someone get a job. I'm just saying, he's done that so many times, right? Because of his constituent guys there. That he's very popular. I'm telling you, he'd beat Howard. This time he'd beat her. We don't want what she's talking about down there.
Well, like John said,
But-
what has she done? What has Howard done in her
Right.
three
The only
terms?
thing she's got going for her is, believe me, it's catching up. And I don't know how to put it that way, but pretty soon, when you're as white as I am, you won't be able to get elected in Lowell pretty soon. It'll be very hard. Now's the time to come out because there's a battle going on, even amongst Southeast Asian people, which I will brag about them until the end of the election. If we didn't have Southeast Asians in our schools, we would have been having a lot more problems. That's all I'll say about that right now. But I made a lot of friends in the Southeast Asian population over time. Doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to be competitive. I'm about 20-1 shot. For my friends that are watching on the computer, I'm about a 20-1 shot. But let me tell you something, all right? I remember having $16 left on me at Saratoga, and I put it all on a horse named Keen Ice, and he won. He beat American Pharaoh. Remember the Triple Crown winner?
Yeah.
Triple Crown winner went up to Saratoga thinking it was the best horse in the world. I picked this horse, Keen Ice, paid over $30-something to win. I had the trifecta, the perfecta. I got my whole $900 back for the weekend. I got everything back. But Lowell is going to, Belvedere, what an election this is going to be. My favorite person in Belvedere, but he'd never run. I'm glad. He's smarter than, he told me, he said, I hope John McDonough doesn't run. It's not a good thing to do. It's not. When you own a business, it's not good.
It's not good.
The best guy for politics in this is definitely my new friend. I only met him a couple of years ago. There's a kid named Dickie Barrett. He owns Kilkenny's Pub, where I'll have one of my fundraisers. Beautiful. I go in there to sharpen my skills because he loves his neighborhood and he loves Belvedere. And I'm pretty sure I shouldn't speak about who he'll support, but I do know who he'll support. I know who Timmy Golden's going to support, someone that used to top the ticket all the time in the schools.
Yeah.
The prince of paraprofessionals, that's who Timmy Golden is. But he's also the best sergeant you could ever get on a police force. That's the type of guy you want to work for as a sergeant, believe me. I talk to all the cops. I drive by them, hey, you want a coffee? Why not? Why not be good to them? How you been?
Yeah.
Even though they're making $100 watching a pothole.
Yeah.
That does bother me. I'd rather have them hanging
It's
around.
a perk.
I'd rather have them hanging around our schools. Just hang around, walk around. Have a canine, walk around the high school. Lucy Lackham Park. You want to come near our children? Come on, any school. Have a cop outside, not in the school. I never was for in the schools. Never. Outside, yeah. Stand up. You want to use your phone, hide behind the school. Things like that. But cops around schools that's the way we got to go. Pretty soon, you better do that too. And we will. Lowell's a good city, man. Telling you, the school system, we just got too many kids. Oh, Mr. Hoey, listen, there's only about 70 kids on the wait list for the Greater Lowell Technical High School. Yeah, there's only 70. There's about 1,100 that are going to hit the streets and not know anything. Some of them can't even tell time. I mean, it's a lot about special needs, special ed too. That's to me, a disaster at Lowell High School. LEAP programs, that's for the really, not severe, but pretty heavy diagnosed when it comes to special needs, like ADHD, and it could be Down syndrome, and people, there's just so many kids. There's so many kids at Lowell High, and I'm telling you, what do? We take them out of the cellar, finally, out of the old school, and we put them up in the new school. And a lot of them need an elevator, and the elevator won't work now. Won't work. Are you kidding me? Now, even if you were building it at Collie, tell me that elevator would have worked out there too.
Oh, would have worked all there, wouldn't it?
No, it's just. Listen, when you drive by, and
It's never gonna
listen,
take-
I'm
We'll be
pro-union.
talking about this 10 years from now. You know we
Yeah,
will.
drive by Lowell High at 10 o'clock in the morning. I do it every day. The front of it. I just drive around and I go up Market Street, and I want to see what's happening downtown. I do it every single day, Monday through Friday.
Bobby, how's the electric bike coming? Broken?
Trying to, when you have an electric bike and let's say it breaks down, and mine is right now,
That was your best
you can't
report.
get it fixed. It's almost impossible to get someone, because when you you're better off buying a new one. Because when you turn it in, they'll say, oh, this is broke, this is broke, this is broke. So you pay $1,500 for a bike. I only got about 900 miles on it. To me, I'm just going to junk it and buy a new one. If you want
What's
to,
the matter with it?
you can bring it. Where can you bring it? The best place in Lowell to fix a
No,
bike.
Bobby,
There's
Bobby.
nowhere to get it. You can't fix these things. Don't be fooled by
Let me
it.
ask you a silly question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I never got the answer.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the bike? That's the question.
I can charge the bike, but the button that you push to make it move, other than pedal, I can still pedal the bike. I'm not, so I'll keep it and pedal.
No. Get to what the problem
The
is.
button is, when you hit the button to make it move, it won't go in any gear, because mine had like 5 different gears.
Now, have you gone on the internet
Line. Yeah.
to replicate that button? Because I'm
I
going to
tell
guess it's screwed on there somehow.
I'm on the internet now, so it's a great idea.
If you look up that model number and
Yeah.
order that, it come in mail for $15, you plug it in, and it might be all better.
No, I know that. I'm on the computer now. Before we turned one bike into a shop. I don't want to say the shop. We turned one bike in,
Say the shop.
service shop, to get it fixed, and it's been in there almost a month.
Nothing yet?
No, not even. Yeah, well, a little bit. So they spent a little money, but I said next time make them know what's wrong with the bike and how much we're gonna cost, because we're not being treated right. Not being treated right. Electric bikes are different, but if you have I've heard that while we're on bikes across from Lowell High School, the Clock area, one of those side streets near the church, Tom.
We're downtown.
There's a bike place down there, right?
Okay, yeah.
They have they give bikes out to kids.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have a breakdown, let's say the chain breaks or the tire gets bent, you go there forever to get it fixed for nothing. And they'll even give you a new bike if you needed one. I'm hearing some great things about that place. I'll get the name of it. I know it's near the church there on that street right across
It's
from
across the street
Clock.
from the old Lowell 5, the original Lowell 5
Yeah,
downtown.
yeah, all right, yeah, that's it. I want to know the name of the place, and I will. Maybe
I'll
someone.
go on YouTube.
The original Little 5 on John Street, you saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a bike shop down there now?
yeah.
Across the street, down cellar. I've been there a couple of
It's
times.
it's a really good deal for a lot of kids. I see them in my neighborhood run up and down the street. And hey, where'd you get that bike? Got it downtown Lowell.
Well, we had our town meeting in Drake last night. And I don't know if anybody saw George Bogue's picture. He posted a picture about town meeting was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. Didn't start till 8:30 because of the people that showed up. They said almost half of the people that voted in the election, more than half of the people voted in the election showed up. So they were out to vote. The budget passed. The trash fee passed. The MBTA Communities Act was shot down big time. They voted no. And you talked about chickens earlier, John. I guess you can't have chickens in Drake anymore or something along that line unless you're at Real Farm. So, but imagine, I never, and I guess the meeting didn't get over.
Wait a second. Joe Espinola has chickens.
Joe Espinola.
Yeah, he's got chickens.
Oh, I don't think he's going to be having them anymore.
What happened last night?
Something about some bylaw they passed or something along that line. I didn't go. I don't follow it because I don't,
But it's a farming town, for God's sake.
Yeah. But Joe lives. It's,
I don't know where Joe is, but he's
I
brought
remember-
some eggs a couple of times. And
I
they're
remember when I
frickin'
was
delicious.
when I was a health inspector in Lowell,
Yeah.
and back Central Street, almost every other house had them. It was allowed then. It was nobody ever cared.
The future, all those people will head to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah,
To me, it's
yeah.
if we don't change our government in Mass quick, we're in trouble here. This place is pathetic.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't feel I'm being represented by the state level, federal level.
They passed the budget overwhelmingly, which was a feather in the cap for the new town manager, I guess. It wasn't even close. They didn't care about the trash fee. That was part of the budget, so it's going in there. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, town meeting got over sometime after 11 o'clock, which is, it started 90 minutes.
This is George Bogue.
There's the picture, George Bogue.
George Bogue on Facebook put this picture up.
It was supposed to start, so technically.
They had him standing outside the town?
Well, they're trying to get in. That's a line to get in. That's what it is. There's a line, you have to check in. And I guess it was going all the way up to inside the school, up to wherever so.
All over the trash.
But you'll
Why
never.
do you have to check in?
This was about the MBTA community.
Oh, okay.
But you won't see this again unless some controversial. That's why they should do a town meeting. My friend and I, John Zimmerman and I agree.
Tommy, why do you have to check in?
It's like when you vote. Why do you have to check in when you vote?
Oh, you have to check in to
Yeah.
prove you're a resident?
Yeah.
What proof of residency? Do I have to show my ID?
You can if you want. Yep.
No,
That's
do
the
I have
fastest
to?
way. No, you don't have to.
So I could just walk up and say,
Just
hi,
like
I'm Tom.
Lord, you don't
I'm
have
Tom
to.
Ballmer. I live at 55 Main Street.
Yeah. Well, you're on the vote. No, you're on the voting list, but you might not be Tom
I'm
Ballmer.
going to say I'm you.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to say I'm John Zimmerman. Give his address.
Right. But what if John's already there?
I'll say, I checked in a while ago. They made me get back in line.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what I
So
heard.
no ID required.
No, but
What's the matter with you, Drake? It?
Mine is I give mine because it's the fastest way to check in. They just run it through the machine and bang. You
I
don't have to-
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you, George Bogue, for putting that picture out there.
I think going back a little bit here on schools, you guys are going off talking about the Drake issue, and I'm thinking about Lowell's biggest issue. What one would it be, Bob? The biggest issue? Well, I would say special education is the one that needs to be looked at really well, debated and talked and everything. Get guys together, girls and guys, and see how we can make it better, because they automatically try to keep it down. We don't need that much help for special needs kids,
Right.
Bob. Because it's the biggest part of the budget. So it's almost common sense.
Yep.
Oof. We got to bring the prices down, but I'm telling you, I think we're way behind in special ed. And when you see a kid, I've seen them laying on the floor and all they do is scream all day in a school.
Wow.
I mean, top of their lungs. People don't know. I just had a few things that I've seen in my life being on the school committee for 7 years. I blame more nowadays on parents. How's that? Imagine being running for a seat and you're blaming parents.
Yeah.
I do. I blame a lot on the parents.
Tommy, I went on Drake's YouTube page.
Yeah.
There's nothing up about the town meeting yet. Did they film it? Did they video it last night?
Yeah.
So they must be going to upload that today. Thank
So
you.
I guess with this, you talk about special ed. I think I read that this kid McDonough that's running is a special ed teacher, John.
Yeah,
Bob,
good. That's
I
good.
think,
That's
yeah.
good. But My point to it, Tom, is this, and when I just said I blame parents more for the problems than I do, not more than Desi. Desi's our biggest problem, but it's not teachers. When I hear people blame a teacher for problems, I can go and I'll start with one of Jim Peters' favorite one, bullying. You know, when the kids are out playing and they can run around, let's say the Riley School, and I watched the Riley School, and there is blind spots, and I'm talking because I'm a prison guard, but there's blind spots. And if certain kids get into that blind spot, it's a very good spot for them to be really bullied. Okay? You can't be standing in circles talking to each other about what hair color you're going to use before you go out. Or just like a cop on a pothole. Don't be hung up on your phone. It bothers a person like me. I don't mind you're on your cell phone for a few seconds.
No, it's awful.
But when I catch them living on it, if I was the boss.
And traffic's trying to go by and they're on their cell phones. It's supposed to be directing traffic. That's what bugs me about that. You know.
Yeah, well, it's automatic though. I mean, drive by almost any car, you see people on their phones still.
Oh no, but I'm saying these cops. I'm saying when they're doing their details as they call it.
And you're making big money. You're on overtime.
Yeah.
But the same thing goes for being out in that yard.
Yep.
You know, if you're in a circle, you got to spread out a little bit. Make sure you're watching the kids. I watched it right across from my house yesterday. One guy watching roughly 60 students. Young kid, not too young, but young.
Yeah.
And they're going over near the back of Low Cemetery. Some of them are going down into the swamp area, you know, the bushes. Hello? You know, it's either we're understaffed, which I don't believe you can get together, you know, when there's recess. Get some people out to look at it. You'll kill that issue Jim Peters talked about. Just by being on your toes a little bit more, it can bring bullying right down. And we should all wake up right now. It's summertime. I used to train people how to swim in the Army when I was in there. Be careful about the water.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in your own yard, you got a pool. Pay attention to them when they're in the water and not on your phone. I'm telling you, it doesn't take long to drown. I hate to sound so, you know, it's a terrible thing to hear, but it's so true. Or just watch them in the water. Watch them.
Yeah.
Someone has to be
one
watching.
One quick second. We saw that little boy that lost his life back a few months ago, and they don't know what to do. They're too young, you know. It's a shame, you know. And you hear it so many times. It's one flash second it could change.
I got to take CPR again. I've had it many, many times, but I know there's changes all the time. I have to find some time to do that.
So, Bob, is that what you're going to make your number one issue is bullying in the race?
No. It'll be trying to go into the books and let's talk about special ed. Are we doing the right things? Because I feel the ones we just took out of the cellar of the 22, the old building where they have food, it was nasty. Down in the cellar.
Yeah.
The LEAP program has been down there for years.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice gesture to send them up into the new building up at the top to get them out of a place that's probably bad for them. But safety-wise, when the elevator don't work, it's always broke. I still feel the city council has one big one to do for me. And I don't want to break it yet because it's only the third, and I'm going to be in front of the old little trade school to have like a formal announcement.
Sure,
I'll
sure.
do it on Facebook somehow, some way. I'll even do it by myself if I had to.
Right.
But the city council needs to make sure we keep that building. Don't give that to a nonprofit. That's all I'm saying. Keep that building because you might need it for special ed. You might need it. There's a lot of good ideas. You might need it. Eric Gitchie's brother, Lee, just brought up, why don't we take adult education and put it over there? That's another good idea. Or how about our special needs that are at the high school? Get them out of there. Get the LEAP out of there. Get them all over there. Put the administration from the Bon Marché building that you're paying maybe close to $300,000 now. It used to be $500,000 rent, and put them down there with the special ed kids so they can see it. There's enough room. Low trade. I went there for a year, automotive. There's enough room in there to make that a nice place for administration and special needs.
$300,000 a year, right?
But only the city council can do this. And I did go in Danny's office on that one. I went, Dan, you got to do it. about a year ago, I think, I went in his office.
Yeah.
Tell him, don't give it to a nonprofit. No way. We need that building. We should have took a couple of those old brick buildings down there in the
Now, what are
mills.
they using that for now, Bob? The old trade school. That was the
Freshman Academy's still there.
Oh, I thought they moved over.
No,
They didn't move over?
not
Oh.
yet, not
Oh,
yet.
okay.
I see them coming out, freshmen
Okay.
all the time.
All right.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
When you're not on the school committee, even when you're on it, they try to keep you out of them. Motions have been put in by people to keep you from visiting a school.
Right.
Man, I could never see that. I used to love to visit like Liam Skinner's school. Oh, that was the best. Some kid would run across in front of you and, hey, excuse me. Liam would call him back. Don't do that. Teach them. Don't do that. That's disrespectful. And then that's why I love that guy. I just watched what he did. For instance, Kay Stocklosa, you remember her? All of us remember her.
I knew George Cool
Well,
Harris.
when she left this earth, they came up with an idea to have a knowledge bowl in her name.
Yeah.
Kathleen Stocklosa Knowledge Bowl, right? Almost every year it was daily school. We got something here. Good morning. We all have no one to blame but ourselves. We will continue to live in a state that newcomers take priority over its residents. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate your input. But in Lowell, and I have to give all the credit to Bill Topia, someone I served with for 2 years, and I've said it many times, there is nothing more important than your 29 schools and your approximately 15,000 students. It's just how many residents you got in Lowell. Oh, you only got 115,000. We got 115,000. I doubt it. I say it's more like 125, at least. We never count. Who does that count? You think that count's ever been done right, Tom?
Right.
Census, is that what they call
Yeah,
it?
the census, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't care if you go door to door, you're not going to get the real number.
Is yours a mail-in census like Drake?
Yeah, we have mail-in.
Yeah.
My friend Ed Weezer, he always told me, he owns a car wash. I think he might have just sold it, but up on Middlesex Street. And he said to me, you know what? Why don't they count how many cars are in Lowell? John always talks about parking, right? You got drones. Go around the neighborhood when everybody's sleeping and count how many vehicles you got. That's what Eddie Weezer told me. That's pretty funny. But you probably got 200,000 cars in Lowell. New
They're
York.
bragging about building all these properties. I'm going to guess the bank saying, where's the parking? We're not going to lend you money if there's no place to park at this facility. So they're getting some pushback from, there's not enough parking. It's not gonna, we're gonna sell these units for $1 million a piece with no parking. Really? Well, we're not gonna, good luck to you. We're not gonna lend you the money for that project.
Did they start construction down here, John?
Nope.
At the old Heinz's?
The big holdup on all these construction jobs is the money from the bank.
Oh, okay.
And you gotta convince the bank, I can pay this mortgage. And it's a tough, we're gonna build this magnificent thing and show us the parking. Oh, you don't, no parking required. I understand. Show us the parking. I'm gonna build the best pizza place in the world. But it's gonna be a walk-in, there'd be no parking. You're not gonna make a living unless it's a mall, and malls are dying.
John, if you can find it someday, look up Concord Prison Tour. There's one coming up like June 6th or June 7th. People invited me to go, and I told them I would never go back in that building as long as I live. But they have something coming up that you can go tour that prison because the state's about to give it to something. And I can just picture what's going to be moving in that building.
Housing, they'll make housing out of it.
Now, Keeley wants to use the 2 courthouses for housing. Did you hear that one?
I heard that
Gentlemen,
one
yep.
too.
That's what you take away from that picture. I didn't read the article. I saw the same thing on Facebook yesterday. It's not going to happen. If you look at, I know the building. I've toured the building. And first
We've
of all,
worked in the building.
Huh?
My wife worked in the building on Hurd Street. Yeah.
Okay, and
a lot of
so
work.
how easy is that going to be to put an elevator in? They put an elevator in that goes from the first floor to the third floor. There's no elevator that goes to the ground. So there's no elevator in the building. It's a beautiful, magnificent building that was built in the late 1800s. It's magnificent, built to be a courthouse.
This one over here, right? You're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
to
Hurd
say, well,
Street
we're
had
going
it
to put
all
apartments in there?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You got something good happening near your property at Hampton. That pizza guy, he's about to do something big around there. I know he is. We could have our first casino, is what I'm hearing. I'm not sure.
They've been pushing for that for a long time. New Hampshire's moving slower than the speed of
Oh,
government.
are they? Okay.
Because they have a casino hall down there that have the one-armed bandits, the whole 9 yards, and brought my wife in there, and she didn't like it.
What, Pheasant Lane?
No, down Happy Hampton.
Oh. How
There's
about
a
Pheasant?
casino. There's a casino in Hampton.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
You've been to the Pheasant Lane one, right?
I love it.
Yeah?
She won't go back.
Wow. Wow.
She loves Foxwoods.
I like Foxwoods
That's where I'm
too.
meeting
She
next
wants
week.
to go
Yeah.
to Foxwoods.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
she wants to go. I love the Encore. She loves Foxwoods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same. My wife and I. Same
I'm
thing.
for Foxwoods too, yeah. Yeah. So Tom, so what else is happening in Draycott? I had a good time over the weekend.
That's about it. I mean, like I said,
Draycott.
town meeting's finally over. The town manager's first budget was passed. We got a trash fee in town. Yeah, so like I say, the meeting was supposed to start at 7. It didn't start till 8:30. It got over sometime after 11. So that's about 2.5 hours, you know. And you'll never see a line like that again, like I told you, unless there's some big issue coming up. And that's how it always is. As John Zimmerman will tell you, and anybody else in Draycott. But these people just want to keep town meeting, which, you know, it's archaic, you know. So
Good friend of mine, right? His name's Jerry Begley. It's another good one for you when the show's over. He invited my wife and I to go to Boston Saturday night to Nick's Comedy Club, you know.
yeah,
And I really rather have music than comedy, but I went, and it was pretty good. The last guy, though, was unbelievable. You have to go look him up later. Quinn, Quinn, last name Dale, Dale. Becoming very popular, too. Really a pro-Trump type of guy, you know, but he has some hilarious jokes, I'm telling you. It's crazy, you know. My friend Begley there, he loves comedy. He was sitting behind me. My wife was sitting in the rear too, and his wife was sitting up front with me. And I think they were trying to push me closer to the stage, so the guy would pick on me type thing. But I couldn't believe it. There was about 200 people. The place looked like to me, you like to use the word. I'll use the word crap hole, you know, dirty, dingy place, but.
so
Small,
it's like one of these small streets, right?
yeah,
yeah.
about 200 people. I would say could squeeze in it, but a lot of alcohol being consumed, and
Now was Boston hopping on Saturday night?
it's always popping
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
area.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's always really busy. Yeah, it's a lot better than it was, I think.
Yeah.
You know, walking through it, because I used to see all the inmates on Washington Street. I don't see them there no more.
Yeah.
Probably all hanging in the common. When I used to go down, I'd walk with my wife through Boston. All the inmates would know me. They'd come up and talk to me and say hi to my wife when they're free, you know. I just seen one at Market Basket cooking. I walked by and he looked at me. I looked at him. I said, I remember, I've been out 15 years.
Yeah.
And I seen the guy caught my eyes, and I put my thumbs up to him, you know. It's a nice, and he noticed who I was, you know, and I said, it's nice to see you behind the counter there, my friend. And he goes, nice to see you too. And he had a big smile.
You brought up Market Basket. We haven't talked about that. What do you guys think? What's going to happen?
Nothing. It's gonna
Right now, it's an internal family feud. And all that has to happen is for Artie DeMoulson say, walk out on Stadium Plaza and just point, go across the street. And he'll
Yeah.
win. That's
Yeah.
all he's got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Artie DeMoulson has been the most generous man I ever met in my life. He's good to your church, my church, whatever not-for-profit you have out there that helps people, he helps them. Plus, the feed bag that he lets my wife buy for bargain prices. Down in Walmart in Texas, headquarters, they know who Artie DeMoulis is. They hate his guts because they have to keep their prices lower here than anywhere in the country because of Artie DeMoulis. So the whole community is going to stand behind Artie DeMoulis, and all he has to do is come out front of the store and say, go across the street, and everybody will.
I looked at it as like a corporate takeover, and he's just standing up for his rights.
Well, it's
That's
a
all.
family feud. Like
Yeah,
the family,
yeah,
and
but-
he's worked his tail off, and the sisters have done nothing. I mean, he's worked that. The grandma, they paid off that debt. There was $160 million. I forget what it was. He had to owe his cousin or whatever it was. So,
So it sounds to me as if the sisters want to get bought out, and that's it. So that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's the best. I love Stadium Plaza too. You get used to the one near your house or
oh
whatever.
yeah, like I love Bridge Street.
Yeah. I
I
go.
get lost in the Pawtuckaville store. My God, it's so big, you get lost. You
That's
can't.
how I feel about yours. I do. From Stadium Plaza, I go to yours and I feel like it's huge.
Bridge Street, yeah?
Oh yeah, compared
I
to.
thought they were about the same size.
Yeah, I just feel like I go to Bridge Street now and then. I just
When you used
feel
to it,
it's
whenever you
bigger.
used
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
You know where everything is. First thing I do is I fly down to meat counter looking for manager specials. Number one thing I do, and other people are doing that too now. So
Yeah.
maybe they hear me talking
Tell
about
the
it.
audience what a manager's special is.
Yeah, anything, almost any department. If you're there for let's say potato salad, for instance, there'll be a red sticker on it, and it says manager special and how much you save if you buy that because it's coming close to the expiration date.
Yeah.
And most foods are still good at the expiration.
Expiration date. Yeah, it's good at least 2 or
Having a
3
hard
days.
time.
Yeah.
They have, listen, but his meat, oh, I'm telling you, but you got to look at the label, right? And look for the steaks that are $19.99. That's the best one he's got.
Oh yeah. 'Cause
It's
yeah.
$19.99. Oh my God, is that good steak? You can use a butter knife
Yeah.
to cut the steak, yeah. Manager specials are the best.
He has a lot of those.
I do all my
specials,
shopping.
The frozen hamburgers, right? Again, and then you buy that, and you just put it in the freezer and save it for the next time you're gonna have meatballs or hamburgers. It's great, But
Yeah, hey,
I talked to a couple of the employees, the ones I know on Bridge Street, and they didn't know this is when it broke on Friday. And I basically asked them who are friends, these people I know. I said, "Well, do you want me to keep shopping here or not?" They said, "Yeah, for now, please."
I'll be right there, Greg. Thanks.
you know what you got to do? You got to, the red shirts that work there, like the
managers.
supervisors, managers,
Yeah.
you got to go tell them, well, I just did Register 8. They're the best.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
who- that's
I go
who-
to the same girl on Bridge Street all the time, Linda.
I
She's
have
the best.
certain ones I
She's
look
the best
for.
the best register lady and one cashier they have.
Expiration date, I finally got it out of me. But that food there, it's always, I'll tell you, the meat, especially when you can get $3 off a steak.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're expensive. I usually like that. My kid and my grandson, they eat the steak. I'm more a chicken man,
Yeah.
I like chicken.
Yeah, chicken and yeah.
Yeah. But I love Market Basket. And I love one kid working there. Imagine working there and he's going to BU.
Oh yeah, a lot of
For management.
Yeah.
Boston University, though. And he's stocking shelves. Those are the type of kids that come out of Market Basket.
Yep.
And the ones that hang in for a long time, you leave there with $1 million pension. Total.
Oh, absolutely.
Total.
Some of them, some have been there forever.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
they
they're there
get
for
bonuses every
40
twice a
years.
year.
You ever see a place in your life, Tom, that likes their boss more than Market Basket, like RDT? And, there's got to be something special about him.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's good to them. He's he treats them well. So it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. But I'm sure this is going to happen sooner than later. I hope nothing like happened like the last time. It was like 8 weeks, and you had people. The stores were people picketing outside the front. Not the workers walked out. And they were. That was bad. So
we'll have a good time on the second
Yeah.
hour, too. And
yeah.
I hope the Dawn Patrol heard us most of the time because schools, I hope they heard me, the city council. Hold on to the Lowell Trade School, please. Don't give it away. Let the nonprofits do what they're doing. There's some good things happening, but don't give away the Lowell Trade School.
Sure. So
How are you?
So,
Greg Pappas just walked in,
yep.
so we'll have him on for the next hour. And what else, Tom? What else? You got
that's
something
it.
about Drake?
No, that's it. We got our town meeting. Everything passed. Everybody's happy, but you'll never see a crowd like that again at town meeting until a controversial
Well, you know,
issue will come up, as my friend Greg will tell you. They don't come out unless something big's happening. And they were standing in a line. The meeting didn't start till 8:30. It was supposed to start at 7. So, checking them in.
I don't go to everybody's party. I never went to, like, the Lowell Plan used to have a breakfast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I never show up at that. The Irish breakfast where you always have at the U.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never showed up for
Bobby,
that.
we're gonna go to break land.
Yeah. Ned
right.
Tarmey finally got me to go to the parties like that, so.
This is the Tewksbury Memorial Day Parade, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes, thanks.
Yeah. Tommy finally got me to go to the parties like that, so.
This is the Tewksbury Memorial Day Parade, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes, thanks. This is the Tewksbury Rescue Trucks first. And Tewksbury Ladder 1 coming out of Rescue Trucks first. And Tewksbury Ladder 1 coming out of Rescue Trucks first. There goes Mark Crap, and I'm going to try to get him to grab the microphone for a minute. There goes Mark Crap, and I'm going to try to get him to grab the microphone for a minute.
Hey, come on, John.
Jason's got the camera in his hand.
Hey, Jason, thanks for everything. It's a wonderful Memorial Day parade once again. Hey, come on, John. Everybody's having a wonderful time, perfect weather, as we honor those who gave their ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, everyone. Great day once again. Enjoy the Everybody's having a wonderful time, perfect
Enjoy,
weather.
great, beautiful
As
weather
we honor
day.
those who gave their ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, everyone. Great day once
This
again.
is what I'd do if I had to lose
Everybody's
20
having a
pounds
wonderful time.
in 30 days.
Have you seen this guy? You know, the one that keeps telling.
Nothing we can do about these ads. They just pop up now and then. Here we go. Back to the parade.
Have you seen this guy? You know, the one that keeps.
Nothing we can do about these ads. They just pop up now and then. Here we go. Back to the.
Have you seen this guy? You know, the one that keeps.
Nothing we can do about these ads. They just pop up now and then. Here we go. Back to the. Like a beautiful old Mack truck from Machine Construction. Way too many audios going here. I gotta find out. Thomas Lanes. Coming up the secondary here. Escapology. That's off. Many audios. Got squirt gun. Let everybody have what their squirt gun. Escapology. That's off. Yeah, many audios. Got squirt gun. Thomas Lanes.
Good.
Great place to visit. A lot of fun down there.
Good.
Pretty good food, too. So we're going to go back to the parade. Thomas Lanes.
Good.
Great place to visit. A lot of fun down there.
Good.
I met joint his brother, you know.
Your mic is on, too.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
I met joint his brother, you know.
Your mic is on, too.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
His brother. Thank you, sir.
LJ Department contractor from Tewksbury. Beautiful old Mack dump truck. LJ Department contractor from Tewksbury. Beautiful old Mack dump truck.
She got 4 more years.
Bobby, just don't put that in. Those 2 sign locations I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Before I pass it over to Tom Bomil, good morning and welcome to the City Life Show. And if you're watching the Dawn Patrol or listening in, we appreciate it. I got to start before I introduce Greg Pappas, as the old election guy, I call him. But I got to say thank you to anybody that responded to John Zimini sold his house on Arlington Street in Drake, and over the weekend he had a sale. He has really nice stuff, and I went up for a couple of hours. I actually helped him I turned into a salesman for him and actually got him a few sales, and I bought something myself. I got a great deal.
Show them the flag.
I'm going to do that, but Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams pitches that I got off him, that, I got a super deal because I like to do flea markets anyways. This is what he gave me for helping him out. He said, in case Trump runs a third term, put this on your window. So I put it on my window. My
That's
wife
gonna be worth
said,
something
no.
someday.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
My
gonna be
wife
worth
said,
something
take it
someday.
down. But no, I know. I'm just thanking you for John Zemini. He'll do it himself. But they had a good weekend, and they appreciated everybody. That
And he's
came
staying
by.
in Dracut. He's not leaving Dracut. I don't think he said he's going to just downsize.
Yeah, I don't know.
John.
I don't know, but I'm
Maybe-
listen,
Did he
this
say?
is- No, he never told me, but
I
I'll tell you.
I asked him last week, and he said he's staying in Dracut. He's just downsizing.
I'm just a youngster. I'm only 70, and I'm telling you, all my friends that lived in this state, they're all gone. They moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot to New
Oh,
Hampshire.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
we're losing more. There's no doubt. But to me, it's a good thing. I live on a dead-end street, maybe 12 houses. If you go to sell your house right now, my son threatened me all the time, says, the houses are going to go down the drain pretty soon. That's what he thinks. He thinks something's going to happen to real estate. And I say to him, buddy, listen, I only paid $85,000 for this house. And some people tell me it's worth as much as $500,000, 2x3, 100. 2x3 construction over 100 years old, and you're telling me I can get that much money? Oh, it's because of the land you got, because they're going to be able to put a house right next to your house. It's amazing how lucky we are in Lowell when it comes to real estate. I've seen it. I've seen them, 2 houses on my streets. They put them up for sale. They got $25,000 more than their asking price. That's how much they want your property. It's a big issue, I think, housing. Look at Lowell alone. And Greg Pappas, instead of me asking you the question, I'll wait to ask you this main question for me. Census. Do you think we get a good count of how many people live in our city? When they say 115,000.
Oh, the local, well, there's the local one that's done every year that goes in the mail. It's not the official one that's done by the secretary and the federal government.
Accurate, you think?
Only as good as people return them,
Yeah.
I mean, I had tons of them that were not good, but Lowell's a transit city. It's not like Dracut as much or the town. So cities always have, like Lowell, Leominster, they always have a big transit population, but it's probably more than it's probably more people than what you get back in the total. That's the way I look at it, because it's just a lot of people won't fill it out. A lot of people are here and they move in and move out within a year or 2 years or whatever. So I think it might be even less. The number that comes in, that we end up finalizing, is probably less than what you really have for the whole city overall. But it's only as good as the folks that send them in. The issue with the national one the next time is and it's run out of every Secretary of State's office, so our office ran it when I worked for the Secretary for Galvin, is that they were counting everybody. If you're going to have all of the deportations now, you're going to have a lot of states losing that population. And I think what's going to happen, too, is we'll lose a congressional seat. This was the first time, Tom, first time in all the years I was down at the State House, we didn't lose one every single time. The last time
These
around,
2 texts for it.
Oh, losing a.
Yeah.
we didn't
And
lose
then we'll
one,
go
yeah.
back to the question that Greg didn't answer.
Nobody's going to push RDT around. He's got the biggest donuts in the Merrimack Valley. But, yeah, his donuts are good. Market Basket donuts can be used as a flotation device. Very yummy, though. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the size of them, but you still got to go far to beat Eric.
So Greg, beating you up a little bit, okay? The question,
Yeah,
the census that the city takes, state takes, Fed takes,
it's different, yeah.
I couldn't care less. Your professional education, your professional opinion, do less people live in Lowell than the census say, or more people?
No, I think more.
And what would you guess?
I'm just saying
and
regarding
if you
when the
can't
city.
guess a number, we'll move on.
When the city does one, when the city does one. I mean, the towns, Tom, every town sends one out in the beginning of the year.
Gotcha.
I just think the less people fill that out, they're not as afraid of this, not filling it out as a city. And Lowell also, like I said, is more transit. People don't fill because they move in, they move out, they move
So
in, they move.
what census brings back the biggest numbers in Lowell?
Well, it would be the national one that's done every 10 years.
So
That's-
once every 10, that's the biggest one?
That's the constitutional
And
one.
how much would you say that's off by? If you can. If you can't, that's okay too.
I bet you about 10 or 12,000, I would say, because the national one's a little bit more accurate, because they go out and actually knock on the door if you don't fill out the form. In the city, cities and towns don't do that,
See,
because they
for
don't have
1,000 years, I never filled out my census.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want my kids to get drafted.
Yeah. Well,
How
I
did you
just,
vote?
yeah.
Because you
Well,
don't,
I
if you
just-
don't fill
I
out your
just-
census in Drake,
I
you're
just walk it.
Yeah.
you're off the
it has-
voting list.
The same
voting-
thing, the same thing in Lowell. I had to take,
The answer to the question, Tom,
Yeah.
I walked across the street with my ID and they let me vote.
yeah, well, what happened was, like, when I first came in to do, I told the manager I'd try and do 2 years, and then Will came in, which I did do the 2 years. I mean, the first week I came in, the person that was running it before me wasn't doing what the state law requires, which is you inactivate people if they don't fill out the census. So what happened was, on the first round, I had inactivated 40,000 people in the city of Lowell.
So because Drake is the same way,
Yeah.
so that's why he could still vote.
Yeah, so we went from
Wow.
82,000 registered voters to 60, and Tom almost passed. I goes, that's the law. I have no choice. The
Yeah.
person before me may have been an attorney, but he wasn't following the law. So they got inactivated, but most of them did come back in once they got the second notice to fill it out and do it. But see, those are the registered voters. The ones that aren't registered voters are the ones that basically are important to the national census, because that's how you pick your House members, your United States Congress members. So you take a population of the state and you divide it by, what they term to be about 600,000 right now for a House member, and they divide the country up by 435 by a number, and that's what you get for a U.S. House member.
Right.
Like I said, Massachusetts, this was the very first time, the last census, the national census, was the very first time that we didn't lose a seat since I was a kid. When I was a kid, there were 12
It
or
almost
14
happened every
House
time.
members.
It almost happened every time.
Yeah,
you know?
Look
and
at
it
the-
did
look at
happen
the-
every time, except for this time around. I think it will happen the next time, because they were counting people who were here illegally, nationally.
When I met Greg at the kitchen door this morning, first thing I asked him about was signatures. So we're asking grandparents to ask your grandchildren to run for city council, run for school committee. And we have districts in Lowell. I said, Greg, the new guy, verbally, the new guy that took your job says any Tom, Dick, or Harry can sign your papers. And you don't think that's a good avenue to go down. So
Well-
if I'm running in district, and I'm sitting in District 4, so if a candidate's running in District 4, he's saying you can get people from the Highlands, Belvedere, South Lowell, Pawtucketville, and they're good at be counted. What's your opinion?
Yeah, but he's just doing what the solicitor's telling them, which is what the cities, when they did the form of government over, said that you can do. But I know, and Will probably will say the same thing, if you're running in Ward 3 and you need 150 signatures, I would get the whole 150 first from the ward, and then if you want to get more outside, fine. Because all you need to do is, if Tom's running against me, and I'm getting them all over, and I turn my papers and the deadline's gone by, and 73 are from 3 and the rest are from the other parts, but Tom's all 150, he goes to district court in Lowell, there's a good chance the judge is going to say, you're off the ballot, your signatures are outside the district. I've seen that and we'll see that with Galvin going to court, we've seen stuff like that, so,
Furthermore,
Yeah.
once I'm elected, can I get kicked out of office?
Kicked out of office?
Yeah, if I got my signatures from Pawtucketville, and I ran in District 4,
That's a good question. You mean to be like not being a legitimate.
so I'm
legitimate getting on the
elected, and
ballot.
all of a sudden, no, McDonough, you didn't get your signatures at District
Yeah,
4.
that's a good question. I don't know what would happen. Anything can happen when you go to court, John, right?
When you get your signature
point.
papers,
Thank-
right, do you have to notarize each sheet, or you just
No.
have to just notarize
No,
anything
no more
anymore?
notarizations,
No.
no.
No more?
Nope, it's just, you accept the nomination on one of them. that's
Like in Lowell, I could be off, I haven't looked at it in a while, but we probably got somewhere between, I would say, 60 and 70,000 registered voters. When it's not and I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
When it's not a presidential election, what is like the highest amount of people that vote? Is it somewhere near 7, 8, 9,000?
Yeah, and that thing has just dropped way off since you went to district, same thing happened in Boston. You can get elected now in some districts in Boston with 2,500 votes, whereas you can go the next district over and need 17, 18,000. Lowell's the same way. I mean, you had some councils get elected with 500 votes, and then the citywide, of course, other districts where there's a fight would be bigger. The turnouts are going to be different also now because, like say in this upcoming, if there is a preliminary, which there looks like there could be, you could end up having, well, it looks like you could have citywide preliminary, but if there was ever a scenario where there was not enough candidates for citywide, and you just had, let's say, a preliminary in Ward 3 Belvedere, and you had one in the Highlands and one in Pawtuckville, you're going to have a very low turnout because the other wards aren't going to vote, and it also confuses people. They're going to be on, I thought it was election day today. No, not in your ward. You see what I'm saying? But this one looks like it's going to have a citywide one on top of it. If you didn't have a citywide one on top of it, school committee or whatever, that's where you get the lower and lower turnouts, get smaller and smaller.
When I think when the year Obama was elected, that was the biggest vote ever for a selectman's race in Drake. It was a special election. They put it on the November ballot. And
Yeah.
Joe DeRocco got the biggest vote ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
John Zimmerman lost, but
Yeah.
still it was the biggest votes because
Yeah.
more people vote in those
More people
elections.
vote.
I forget what year Obama was elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it's just the
This is off of Google, and it says in 2024, the
Yep.
estimated population is 114,296.
that's the number, yeah.
The official from the federal government, the most recent census data from April 1st, 2020, which indicates that's the federal census, 115,553, so.
Right, and out of that, you had 82,000 registered voters. I had to clean off for 40,000, but most of them came back. But even on that, the 114,000, you're probably really up by 120
Okay,
probably.
what is the exercise? I'm running for state rep. What's and I get signatures. What is the process? You check so I bring it back to the election guys.
Right.
Bring it down to your former office, and when you were there, what's the process for checking my signatures? You just, oh, John's a good guy, just let them all go, or what
Yeah.
happens?
Oh, no, you have to check them.
So what happens? What's the process?
Yeah,
please?
so you take in the papers, and you basically tell them.
So the election office takes in the papers?
Yeah, and there's a process, you tell them how many signatures you got, not good ones, you just say you turned in 87 signatures, you give them a slip. Then you go to the voting,
Who's the they? I go to
candidate.
The candidate
Yeah.
goes,
And then I take them, or the staff will take them, when we go to we sit down with the
the
VRIS.
elections commission staff, yeah.
Yeah, which is the voter registration system, and you look up each one individually. You go one at a time. and
So
look 'em
all
up.
87 they look up, they just don't check a few on the page?
Oh, no, you have to look them up, you have to certify all of them, yeah. So out of the 87, we'll go through the whole thing and say, okay, you had 54 were good, the rest were no good. They can challenge them, but,
They always say to get more than you should.
Always
They
get
told
more
me
than you
in Drake,
should.
they said,
Yeah.
get at least 50 more than you should.
Yeah, because there's some we can't read,
Yeah.
some you can't.
So
print.
everybody's going to you're going to look up every single signature?
Always do. That's why when a statewide candidate comes in, I mean, somebody comes into Lowell and drops, we've had that, we'll drop off 1,500, 2,000 signatures. We got to certify those. We
So
gotta-
you
You can
don't
only
stop
certify people who are registered to vote in Lowell.
Right, but you got to go through every single one of them to find out which ones are.
So if
right.
somebody signs there from Drake, it's no good.
No, that's, yeah, right.
Can't be
Right,
verified.
John, yeah.
But you don't stop when you get, say if.
Oh, no.
You don't stop when, let's say he needs 150.
Right.
You don't stop when you hit that 150, you have to certify every one of them?
No, what we do is 10% more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if it's a statewide thing, you have to do all of them because. it's-
Right, I'm just
yeah.
saying,
But it-
when
yeah.
I ran for out in Drake at Housing
Yeah.
Authority, I thought the girl said to me, once you hit your 75, or whatever, 50
Yeah.
signatures, as long as we go over
Yeah.
10 more to make sure.
They usually go, over, and then if
Yeah.
there's a challenge, and what you always tell people to do is, and the same thing in the state was, if they turned in extra papers, they stop like a state rep seat, you stop at 210. So,
Right.
but they might have another 150 signatures, so that gets filed in with Michelle Tassinari at the secretary's office. So if they get challenged, they can still pull from those papers, they were turned in time. So, just for challenge
One more
purposes.
population thing I want to show you. There's one outfit out there says there's 113,000 people living in Lowell. That's 2,000 less than the feds say.
Yeah.
I say Greg's right, about 125. You could add 10,000 people are here, in and out, living
Yeah,
with
but
uncles, cousins.
we get our dough from the feds based on how many the feds say live here. And the feds right now say 115.
Yeah.
The 2025 census says there's 113.
Mm-hmm.
We lost 2,000 people. Nice job.
I think
They are
when
moving
you,
to New Hampshire.
I think when you look at when they do the 28 one, you're going to see a lot lot smaller, especially in the cities. Boston, Springfield, Worcester, you're going to see a lot less.
Why would you say that?
Well, cities are, like I said, more transient. And again, there's this, supposedly in Massachusetts, the numbers I saw, there were as many as 600 to 900,000 illegal people living here illegally who obviously were counted. They're not supposed to be. And that's how we saved the congressional seat.
So how did they get to register to vote?
They don't have to be registered to vote. That's what I'm saying. That
Can
it's
they illegal register to vote?
not supposed to be able to, but I've seen cases where they ended up voting. They registered and they voted. And
So what do I need? If I walk into the city of Lowell to register to vote, what do I need? I just a smile?
Yeah.
No ID?
pretty much, yeah.
No ID.
We're not an ID state.
So I just walk up, hi.
Unless it's your
I'm
first
Greg
time,
Pappas.
unless it's your first time registering to vote. If it's your first time, you show an ID.
I
Yeah.
just moved here from New Hampshire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your first time, you would have to show an ID. If we don't have you in this.
What kind of ID? My gas company bill or what?
Yeah, exactly. That's
My
your
gas
utilities bill, show you live there, yeah.
So I just bring my
They
gas
make it
bill.
very easy, yeah. They make it very easy.
And so a gas bill.
They make
doesn't-
it hard to buy a
Gas bill
beer.
doesn't have my picture,
They make it hard to buy a beer, John, but you make it very easy to register to vote.
so I can just bring my gas bill that says I'm Greg Pappas and you'll take that.
You have to, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So when you give out signature papers, when they go down June 10th,
Yes.
they can give them to their friends, a couple, and
Of
say, hey,
course.
go get
Yep.
me some signatures. They don't have to do it all by themselves,
Nope, they
correct?
can duplicate it,
Yeah.
but if you duplicate it, always duplicate the papers exactly the way they are. In other words, don't upside down on the other side, and you want exact duplications. So, but we usually give them, and we'll give them as many as they usually want, so it's not a, yeah.
Well, I know you know about Lowell and Belvedere, how they vote, because I've been in, this will be my 8th election that I'll be
Yeah,
involved in.
right.
And I used to say, just wait, you gotta wait till Riley School comes in. Once their numbers come in, then you can either feel good or
Yeah.
or you
Oh,
know
yeah.
you're gonna lose, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, same thing with us in Drake. There's certain polling locations we know, right, Tommy?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see the numbers
yeah.
coming in, and you know, it's like, you know.
And I've been working really hard for Danny Finn, one of the candidates.
Can you read this one, Bobby?
Yeah, I don't think those census numbers include the newcomers. What is the number of illegal aliens in
That's what I'm
Lowell?
saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. A lot of them don't fill out the forms, but they're here. But I'm talking about like the city ones, but they do get counted in the federal ones.
So how many would you
Because they go
guess?
door to door.
But just speaking to the audience question, what's the number of illegal aliens in Lowell? What would
Well,
you
I'm
guess?
not sure about Lowell, but like I said, statewide, there was a number I was seeing over the last couple of years of 600 to 900,000.
So you can't give us
Which
a
is
guess.
basically
Understand.
about a congressional seat. It saves a congressional seat. So it's the total that counts more so than the total for Massachusetts than it is by city or town that makes a difference. It does make a difference in city, town for, I should say, rep districts and local senate districts, but not as much. Congressional is what they really do it for, the national one. Not the one that comes out every year, but the national one that's going to be coming out in 28, where they knock on your door, say, you didn't fill this out, they see 10 more people there. You know, then they count down. But you're not supposed to, but they do. And that's why I think we did save a seat, because every single 10 years in the legend, from 77 up when I was there, we lost 1 or 2 congressmen.
Tommy?
So
read this one?
President Trump was correct. The borders were left open to bring in voters.
Oh, I think that was obviously, I mean, how else can you explain it? Not only that, why were you were flying people in from other countries. I mean, not that, I don't know if Joe Biden knew it or not, but they were flying people in, landing planes at Logan. They were sleeping alone. These poor people didn't even know, they thought they were coming here for legitimately. That's the thing that's sad about that, is a lot of them came in thinking legitimately the government sent the plane down and we can go to America, and yeah. So,
You know
that's the only
how-
thing I can think of. I don't know. Can you guys think of anything else? What other reason it would be?
No.
I don't. Other than to affect well, they're saying there's, I'm sorry, Bobby,
That's okay.
they're saying there's 8 to 9, 8 states in the United States that should have picked up a House member, but they didn't this time. And those states, basically, if you want to call them red states, the blue states retained.
Right.
So, I mean, it looks like a plot, yeah. Yeah.
But obviously it backfired because Kamala got trounced, in the election.
Well, you don't deal with, I mean, our grandparents taught us well, and, you
Yeah.
don't deal with the truth. You're
Yeah.
fighting against the guy upstairs, because that's where it comes from.
So I saw you on Teddy's show.
Yeah.
About a month ago, a week ago.
Oh, I thought you meant yesterday with Marty.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The question I had when I was watching was, why were you interviewed by the CIA?
That was when
That
I
was hilarious when
You,
you
know,
went-
you were around me. We grew up together politically.
Yeah.
I mean, when Nick was a rep.
Is that what it's-
Yeah, when I was
okay.
working for Nick, and John beat him.
Okay.
And I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the house, and Johnny was taking Colleen, and
Okay,
you know,
right.
we were all friends. And I was thinking to myself, I was already doing it for 7 years. I'd already had 7 years in the State House. And,
Right.
and I'm saying to myself, do I want to still do this? So I went and I took two things. I took, for the heck of it, because I government degree.
Right.
I took the CIA exam in Boston, and I took the Navy officers exam because my father was a pilot. And I figured I like to fly. I mean, I tried it, but the Navy ended up putting me on the list. An officer's list. I took the physical and everything, but it was because Vietnam was over.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a call from the CIA. As a matter of fact, I got several calls, and a weird exchange of somebody that showed up at my grandmother's house, who was an OSS guy from World War II. I thought was just visiting. He came to see me, and then I ended up having an appointment, and the guy who happened to be from Lowell was the number 2 or number 3 guy at the CIA under Colson. And I had to go meet him at Tatsios's, you know.
And you talked about that too.
Yeah. So it was interesting.
So
And
I thought it had something more to it than
No,
that.
it was just-
So
yeah.
You could have been a CIA agent.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and they were looking for young single guys, you know, but I really didn't pursue it further, but it was just interesting. You know, trying to make an impression, and I made the wrong impression. I walk and I sit down. He goes, "So-and-so rep, you related to him?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, that's my nephew." Yeah, he says, "Yeah, he's a great guy." And he puts his newspaper down. He goes, "He's an effing, you know what?"
Yeah.
I go, "Okay." You know, that was important. They excited us, though, you know.
Something just came up on me is I live in District 3 and Belvedere.
Yep.
And I badger Eric Gitcher, okay? I went after him saying, I want to vote for who we put in and not let them appoint somebody to a seat. And he went and, I believe, was trying to get the election, a special election going.
Yes.
And if I'm correct, I thought you said there wasn't enough time.
Legally.
But, well, all I know is, like I said, I drive the poor kid crazy because he wants to work. I'm going to give him as much work as I can find, you know, that type of thing. I'm always on him. So he just always felt that, and I try to catch him to be wrong. That's what I'm trying to do.
No,
now.
Eric argues a great point, and he should have argued that. But the point was, I was 3 days short statutorily, and I can't. It's a statute. And bottom line was, not only did I couldn't do it because the machines were already test decked and had the memory chips in. That was the other thing. The law doesn't allow me to take those out. But if it was 3 days earlier, we would have been prior to the test decking. We could have did a separate machine in those areas easily. And had 2 ballots like we do in Draco. We have the Draco Water Supply District and the town, and it reached 2 different ballots. And what was ironic was, you know, and people were mad at me. I said, I have no choice. 9 days later, God rest his soul, the mayor of Methuen passed away, and they go to have a special the same, 9 days later, and Galvin calls him and says, you can't do it. You're not statutorily within the thing. So they couldn't have a special either. They had to appoint.
Yeah,
But Eric's absolutely right. You got to ask those questions.
Yeah, well, I try to catch them to be wrong. I love doing that
Yeah.
to people when they're giving their, they can vote for something I can't, right? I'm not elected yet.
Right. But I honestly, I says, I have no choice. It's not a choice I can make. A lot of things in elections have no choice. It's all, even like I explained to people, the rules and regulations for a ballot, the writing on the ballot, everything you see, the font sizes and regulation.
Yeah.
Everything, the title at the top, the color of the thing, the font. Somebody said to me, well, the Republican ballot in Massachusetts is blue and the Democrats red. You guys shouldn't know. I goes, that was done long before the red-blue states. Galvin did that in 1995. It's got nothing to do with it.
Fix it.
That's up to the secretary, not me.
Fix it.
Yeah, and that's up to the Secretary of the Commonwealth. And you know what happened then? You'd have people confused probably saying, well, don't I usually get a blue ballot? I'm a Republican. Are you? So,
Bill Gavin's a nice guy, but he's an old buckaroo. You should retire.
Well, but if you get and I hear what you're saying. The thing is with Billy is if he does retire, and the problem is one thing is he's probably the last guy that's holding the wall against getting rid of paper ballots. You get the next person coming in, and they might want to go all digital, like the machines down in, and that's the whole thing Billy's good
The
for.
Massachusetts government doesn't care what the people want. Bobby, can you read this one? Then I'm going to do the
Once
announcements.
again, our local disgusting news didn't do any stories on migrant voting. Bad hombres.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, the Lowell Police puts this out. This is, I'm going to do the announcements. It takes about 5 minutes to do this.
Yeah.
And some of these guys don't, because Corey Robbins already here, but it makes no difference. So these are the neighborhood meetings. If you're in a neighborhood group and you want to get your neighborhood meeting on this list, call the cops and tell them, and they'll be happy to put it on there. So these are all the neighborhood meetings that are coming up. There was the Centerville Neighborhood Action Group had their meeting last night. So did the Pawtuckettville Citizens Council. Next one coming up is the Highlands Neighborhood Association. They have their meeting at the Lowell Catholic on June 9th. But take your fancy phone out of your pocket, walk over to the screen, take a picture of this if you're interested in finding out more about your neighborhood meetings. All that the police know of, that they're aware of, are listed here. So,
Some of them, John, draw big crowds.
yeah,
They do. They're really good.
and you should.
You should go.
So long as you know, that's a good thing.
Yeah, very good things. Very, very
So,
good.
farmer's market, if you want some nice, fresh vegetables, every Friday, starting this Friday, they're gonna have, nice farmer's market at 350A Dutton Street. Where the heck is that? Well, you go down Dutton Street, inbound towards downtown Lowell. Take a right, go over that bridge, the first bridge you can, by the railroad, just in between the railroad tracks. Go over that bridge. As soon as you go over the bridge, you're going to see on the left-hand side, this group, they're outside, they're not inside, so they'll have all kinds of things going on there, and they'll have some good food to eat. Starts at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, goes to 6. So hope to see you there. Corey Robinson had a nice party the other night. You have somebody that needs some prayers, you can call the Poor Clare Nuns. That's their phone number. Leave them a voicemail, and they will pray for whatever your issue is. Just tell them what your issue is, and they'll say some prayers for you. This is all old stuff. Okay, June 5th out in Chelmsford, there's going to have a hearing, or the Zoning Board of Appeals is having a meeting at the Chelmsford Police Station. And you're welcome to go to this. If you don't want those loud trucks, now's the time to get down and clamor about the loud trucks and try to remedy that situation, get that neighborhood back to a peaceful state. Greek Festival happening this weekend, June 13th. Oh, that's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks. So, nice Greek food at the Holy Trinity. That's the Gold Dome Church. And you don't have to be a member of the church. You could just show up, starting at Friday at 7, and Saturday it's going to go till 7 p.m. So, good time to be had by y'all. You got all these Greek goodies, if you like, to gobble those down at very excellent prices. So, hope to see you over there. Last day of school's coming up. Corey Belanger is having a town hall meeting. He's going to have that this Saturday, June 7th, from 11 to 1 at the Riley School Cafeteria, 115 Douglas Road. Go over there and you can shake Corey's hand and tell him what your neighborhood issues might be. First annual Gun Awareness Friday, Gun Awareness Vigil. Join us for a community gathering to honor victims and survivors as we work to end gun violence in the Lowell community. Please wear orange. Bring a frame photo of the loved one as we come together as a collective for a moment of silence. The city of Lowell's putting this out there, and it's going to be, let's go back. It's going to be Friday, June 7th, 10 o'clock at Lowell City Hall, 375 Merrimack Street. That's my last announcement. Back to you, Bobby. Thanks.
Okay, and if anybody's worried about Ned Tarmey, he does take phone calls. You must have his number if you're his friend. Give him a call. I haven't called him in about a week, but he's recovering. He's in rehab. It's his legs mainly, but
Yeah, Ned did, yeah.
yeah, so if you're out there, Ned, this morning, we miss you, buddy, and we need you back. But getting back to Lowell elections, okay? This election, I've never seen nothing like it, especially in Belvedere. You got 4 candidates already, but there's rumors now that I'm hearing on the streets that a couple more might come out June 10th. You never know.
Yeah.
You know, and if we get another 1 or 2 in that race, you might be able to win that by 10 votes. It might be that
You
close.
can pull papers the last weekend if you can get 50 signatures, as long as you turn them in on the deadline, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. What, in the deadline, I think it's the 22nd of July.
Yeah, July.
Yeah, that's
They
what
gave you
I
6
read.
weeks, I think. I saw
Yeah,
the calendar,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this, to me, it's one of the biggest elections I've ever seen in Lowell. You know, I live in what I call the swamp many, many times. So someone will say to me, well, why don't you run in your district? And he just came over and sat with me the other day. Dave Conway is in that district. And I said, well, first of all, I've been on John McDonough's show for a few years calling Belvedere the swamp. And then they just redistrict and put me in the swamp. I used to, so I said, oh no, I'm going citywide, I have to. I have support in Belvedere, there's no doubt. I know my friends are in Belvedere. But they're gonna control
Sure.
this, the at-large city council race.
Well, they always did anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna really
They
do
always
it.
did. That's how
Oh, you
the,
want to take this one?
Yeah, every time I see the district map, District 4 sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah, but you know, Craig, this is how I feel. It's just an opinion. I like to say it like this. Once the Cambodian people and all the people of color talking Spanish, once they learn how to vote together and not fight, don't be split, they'll be able to put a half a dozen people on the city council and the schools.
yeah, that's always usually a case when
It's
people
getting
get
there.
together, but for some reason, there's always, I mean, even in the Cambodian community, you see that split between, because of politics back in Cambodia, you know?
The way they went after Dominic Lay in the past couple of
Yeah,
years, a friend of
so-
mine, really, it upset me.
Yeah, I mean, they had a rep in and they ran what's his name? Tara won, beating a Cambodian rep.
Yeah,
So you still see that stuff's still gonna take years to settle out. People are still, that craze is all, but I know what you're saying.
I think
Yeah,
I think the at-large city council race, other than Eric, even Rita won't get bumped out, but I think Rita's numbers will decline.
Oh,
That's what I'm
It's
hearing.
been so many years, yeah.
Yeah,
it's gonna
she's
happen.
been there a long time.
Yeah, sure.
And you have to, whoever's working really hard, and I'm looking at Belvedere seeing these signs for 6-2. I don't know his last name, so I'll just say his first
Jesus.
name. To Jesus.
6-2.
Thank you very
Jesus,
much,
yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
I see his signs getting attached to Belinda Geron that I didn't even give a chance a couple of weeks ago. But she's growing, like slowly. Corey hasn't even put his signs out yet. So you see a lot of, I said it,
Yeah.
I'm working for Finn, and I say, hey, Finn and Gendron look like the leaders to me. And I would even say Gendron's leading, but the city has changed.
Oh,
There's
sure.
no doubt Belvedere has changed.
Well, look how many families have moved out over the last 10 years.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
we
talking
We know by
about.
names.
Yeah.
We can name names. All of us can name names. Yeah, I can name about 60 families that are in Andover at Tewksbury now.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, that's just Belvedere. Forget all the guys in the Highlands that I knew that are now living in Drake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep,
You
yeah.
know?
Look at what you guys
Moved to
went.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, all moved to New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget what the
Tingsboro.
election office, and I always got treated great in the election office. All 7 of my elections, those people, the people that worked there were always great to me. But Laurie Trahan's race, I imagine you guys must have been pulling your hair out, how close that was.
I wasn't there. I was
Oh, you wasn't.
I was
I
in
thought you-
secretary's office at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, 14 points. I mean, the amazing thing about it to me was, and Tom understand, we all understand it, how Dan Coe, who ran out of Andover, where Senator Barbara L'Italian was running, splitting Andover, the state rep was running out of Methuen, a very popular person was running out of Haverhill. How he, if one of those people went in the race, he would have won.
Yeah. Do you
I
know-
couldn't believe it.
you know, I
It was
remember-
crazy
Yeah.
how we got within 14 votes.
I remember standing on the steps of City Hall with at least 60 different people that were elected in Lowell before, for Laurie Trahan. I'd like to see that come back and try that again. I think she would have lost half of them.
Absolutely.
The way I'm looking at things.
So, no, yeah.
It's absolutely, to me, crazy what's going on.
Unfortunately, having worked for a congressman, I can tell you, they themselves can get very out of touch because of the Washington stuff. And it's such a big district, 35, 36 cities and towns. But that's where the aides are supposed to sit down and have, like I used to have with Chester face it, and I was known for that. Kids would say, how can you, you're going to get them mad. I don't care if you get them mad. That's our job. That's what I was known for, and I would go to Bob Crane said to me, he says, you were always straight with me. I got mad at you sometimes, but If you don't do that, you're not doing your job. You have to let them know, especially the district aides, what the people are thinking on the local level, what they're saying. And if you just think everything is down there in DC, where, that can happen very, very easily.
And
That showed in that race when
Yeah.
Chester lost contact. Mighty Man came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed at me and that's where
Yep.
I think it's the right person comes along
Right.
to reach your hand. The
Right.
right young person.
How many times have we heard John McDonough say that the Democratic machine, watch them come alive? I think they're going downhill.
Well, if you look at law, I mean, when would you ever imagine there's only 5, I mean, there's 8 wards,
Yeah.
but there's only 5 Democratic City Committee wards. I mean, they're not all full.
Wow.
And out of the 5, I think there's only one of them has 11 members. I mean, look at the town committee in Drake. When we were on, it was 35 of us, right? And we had 300-something associates.
Yep.
Now
No
there's
more,
what,
no
11,
more. If
12?
that, if that. Yeah.
People are sick of the party stuff because the party stuff has failed them.
People are sick of politics, Greg. I think. People
Well,
have
that's
had
the
it,
thing. Well,
it's-
again, the Democratic Party, I look at it from, we know it the best. I don't know much about the Republican, but I was on the state committee for 18 years. They're not Democrats. They're progressives. They're not liberals that you can have a conversation with. They're progressive, radical left. I don't know where they come from. And then they turn around, instead of electing people, we were adding people on which aren't elected, and the only reason they added them on was, well, they can't get elected. Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's
the
why.
point,
That's
you know?
why I think the voting it's really difficult to judge it anymore. Before you could very easily
Yeah,
pick who's
yeah.
going to win, but
Right.
there's going to be some upsets in Lowell.
And with
I'm
this
telling
stuff,
you.
with the Twitter stuff and everything, the public is so informed now. I'm so proud of people that we know over the years that, they would always come to us, and now they're telling us stuff. I'm going, wow, this is fantastic. The public is figuring stuff out. Very, very good. And I hope it continues that way and gets even better. I mean, when you see something that's said, that's a fact, like on Joe Rogan, and 250 million people are sharing it, beautiful. Now, because the mainstream media, I mean, they had Project Monarch when we were kids. Project Monarch was, it's a conspiracy theory. It turned out to be true. The
Greg,
CIA was paying CBS and all these stations to run stuff,
The number of voters that we have depends on whatever town you're in. The big surprise was Karen Casella kicked the daylights out of what the Democratic Party wanted.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Karen Casella,
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons,
yes, yeah.
won the race big time.
Right.
And the Democratic Party wanted Sakari Chow.
Yeah.
And yesteryear, whatever the Democratic Party wanted, bam, that's what happened.
Yeah, but and I agree with you. But Karen, and I said that to Karen, and I knew Sakari too. I says, you're running against somebody who ran already and lost. We've seen that happen. O'Galvin did the same thing. We ran for treasurer, we lost. We turned around, and ran again, we won. Karen Polito ran for state treasurer, turned around, lost, turned around, ran for lieutenant governor. Once you get your name out there and people see you, they give you a chance a second. Karen was going to win that.
Yeah, I work in both
Now,
her
while
elections.
we're talking about the State House, Greg, what's your opinion on the audit? Do you think the audit will ever happen?
Probably not. Diana's up against a wall, and I mean, it's just, but she's fighting. That's Diana. I mean, she will not. I've known her since literally, I mean, she was on a school committee.
How about you, Bob? You think we'll ever have an audit?
No.
How about you, Tom?
I don't know. I just don't know if the average voter is going to go out there and say, what the heck's
Well, the
going on
voters
here?"
already said we want an audit.
I know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And if they don't do it, will they turn against people like Elliott and Gary and all these people that probably voted against the audit?
You have to have opposition. That's
Yeah.
to begin
Yeah.
with. You'd have to have people running to begin with. Like somebody said, they'll
But
lose
now
the
there's
next
talk
election.
she's thinking of running for governor, DeZoglio. DeZoglio's thinking of running against Maura Healey. Did you hear that one?
Well, I've talked to Diana a lot, but I don't think she
That's
would.
it.
But I think there's a good possibility seeing Maura, and I used to have coffee with Maura when she was Assistant Attorney General. I mean, we used to all go downstairs in McCormick Building, and she's really. I said the other day, she's stressed out. She's put on weight. She's really stressed out, and she's not getting help from the other two branches because I can say some things about the other two branches. I know the speaker, him and I were aides together. I mean, she's not going to get help from him. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Karen Casella, I worked for her in 18 when she ran against
Yeah.
her own boss, Dick Howe Jr.
Yep.
And she lost. I said to her, I looked and I said, you're unenrolled, that might hurt you. And she lost.
Yep.
Next year, she did this on her own.
Yep.
Next year, I looked down at her and she's running as a Democrat. Thank God
Yeah.
she did. That's
Yeah.
what made her win. And her experience. I mean,
Right.
the 32 years that she
Yeah,
had in
she's
the
a
race.
great experience. She's a good person. I had to do some business there once, and they all come out together.
I need to have your feeling on this one because I thought I felt like even people in Boston, Laurie Trahan, all those people were against Karen Casella. They didn't want you to vote for her. I think the same thing, basically, even though Dave Nagel caused his own issues, I thought they wanted rid of him from the get-go, from the state. They just wanted rid of him because he was he opened the doors for Trump to come to Lowell. People that support Trump, like myself. I mean, we can't even vote for somebody without people coming after you.
Yeah.
But I think that number is definitely shrinking.
Oh, it is. The control is gone. There's no more control.
Right.
The state committee is tatters. Most of the friends that I was served with are off of it now.
Yeah.
I left after 18 years. I said that I could only do it for so long. I only did it because I worked for the secretary, and I could keep one of the normal votes. There was a group of us within it that were, could cause some issues and force them into things, but they don't. The last meeting I went to, I think it was 2018, and it was in Worcester, and some kid started yelling at me, President Kennedy was a Republican. This guy goes, listen, just go away, wave your voice.
Did you ever work with my good buddy, George Anthes?
Oh, of course. George was in our secretary's office, and George was, and I knew George from Lowell, as a kid in Beverly.
Yeah, I love George.
George is a brilliant guy. God rest his soul. Air Force, everything. I don't know why he left our office. What happened with that? I don't know what the issue was. I never found. George never said anything. Galvin never said anything to me. But
George is my favorite Republican.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got two paragraphs there.
The Democrats are for
Yeah, there you go.
boys and girls sports, open borders, migrants before citizens, criminals before law-abiding citizens. Number 2 is not having an audit after the voters want it. It tells us everything you need to know about how crooked this state is. Yeah, I just look at our federal leadership. Just like one person comes up in my head. Is it Presley? What does she do? What's her job, Craig?
She's a congresswoman, yeah.
Congresswoman.
I knew her when she was city councilor in Boston.
When she speaks, all I feel is hate coming out of her.
Well, yeah.
That's all I
And she's
feel.
misreading her district. She's misreading her district. If you turn, she's like she thinks she's representing the Mattapan. She has a big congressional district, but if you went to the mayor's debate a couple nights ago, Josh, which I've been telling people, Josh Kraft is more left-wing than Mayor Wu is.
Yeah.
They booed him off the stage. Who was doing the booing? If you look at the audience, was all the black community. They were booing him.
Wow.
They don't want that. They're trying to get a normal. They destroyed that Roxbury and Mattapan. I have friends down there making a comeback. They had some stuff going on. They had a community center that's been taken over. It's
I remember very funny about John McDonough one time yelled out, "Bye, Ed Markey."
Oh.
He right on the show here goes, "Bye, Ed."
Yeah, as soon as Kennedy was running.
Yeah.
Joe Kennedy. I felt the same way.
I
but
still don't know how those numbers work that way. It doesn't make sense to me.
You think Galvin will run for re-election?
I think Billy will. Billy. You know him.
Yeah.
I think Billy will be there till we carry him out up the staircase of the State House and put him in a
There's
hole.
elections next year. Somebody wants to take money, they have to come out.
He's only, I'm going to be 67. He's 6 years older than me.
So he's 70-something, right?
Yeah, so he's 74 or something. So he's not that old.
Right.
But, and again, the thing with Bill, and listen, the party hates him so badly. And again, I keep saying, like those 4 things that they listed, that's not the Democratic Party, but it's the progressives that took over the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. Billy Galvin is the first, when we ran for treasurer, you could need 15% to get on the ballot. We ran for treasurer, we got 17%. We got on the ballot, we beat the Speaker of the House and the Senator, who got way more from the convention, but we lost him alone. When we got on the ballot again, we got 15.9, just barely got on, and we became secretary. When Josh Zacob ran against Galvin the last time around, Galvin was the first constitutional officer that I can ever recall who was already in office, and that the Democratic Party supported Zacob over him. And he's the secretary.
Yeah.
And then Billy kills him in the election because the public doesn't want. The public knows what they want, and but I'm not surprised again to go with this question. The audit, Tom.
Yeah.
And Bobby, the audit. Look what they did with Prop 2.5. I was there in 1980 when the public passed Prop 2.5. like Lambros got up on the floor house. He says, they go to a constitutional convention every 2 years,
Yep.
and they watered it down right there. They took 2.5 and they watered it right down with 17 amendments to it. The public had no idea.
And someone said to me recently, I thought you said we're going to go up on our property taxes by 5%. And I said, I did say that. I said, but they only went up 2.5% this time around because it's an election year.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't want to go to 5% again after you hit us twice for that.
Right.
Then you hit it a third time. You don't think you're going to go. So 2.5 to me is fair. It's fair. Because I know how much maintenance we need to our 29 schools alone.
Right.
29 of them. Don't forget that.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's right. We need a lot of money. And where are you going to get money, Craig? Where?
Well, it's not going to be easier now. It's going to be even tougher because the federal government's not going to be dishing out all this dough freely without being accountable now.
So it's property taxes is
Yeah.
about the last place they can go.
That's it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the other scenario would be the nationwide VAT tax, and get rid of the federal income tax. That would be huge, but people were screaming, the poor people. Well, the point is it wouldn't include food and it wouldn't include clothing. It just include buying stuff, but it actually would bring in more money than even the federal income tax does. So.
But in Lowell area, I'll tell you, we do pretty good when it comes to that. From Salvation Army to
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of nonprofits, all kinds of people. RDT, again, Market Basket, they help. There's a lot of food.
No,
People
the
raising, if we didn't have that in Lowell,
Right.
we'd be in trouble.
And that's the other thing, to talk about Market Basket, we all know Arthur, and they originated in Drake at the family, but, I mean, and their parents went to school with my parents. Anyways, the bottom line was, the thing is, you can be prejudiced because we like Arthur, but the reality is, he's grown it to over 100 stores, of which they own the plaza. Everyone's profitable, they have no debt. So I'm trying, you say it from an outsider, so what's the board's problem again with him?
Yeah, I don't get it.
What's the problem? So it's got to be
What's
personal.
jealousy? It's gotta be the
personal.
family.
It's not logical. Got nothing to do with the way he's running the show. It's just that he, because it makes no sense from a financial point of view, which is what the board's supposed to be interested in.
Yeah.
So
Everybody in Lowell, the big issue is always the high school, and they blame. A lot of people have talked to me about it, believe me, because I was a very big part of that decision, because I was a downtowner.
Yeah.
But I look back at it, and Ed Kennedy, one of my favorite guys in the world, other than Pangy, Senator Kennedy, I think he's done a lot for Lowell and around surrounding towns. He had an Ed Markey sign in his yard, and Market Basket, right at the corner there, maybe a quarter mile from Ed Kennedy's house, they had Joe Kennedy sign,
Right.
RDT, on his property.
Right.
So I looked at that and I said, oh boy. And they all blame, a lot of people have blamed RDT about the high school where it is being built. They all say if he wanted it up there, it would have been there. He didn't want it. That's how much power they thought the guy held. But it was really Senator Ed Kennedy.
yeah, be honest with you, I don't think
So-
Arthur cared one
No,
way or the
I
other.
think-
Arthur doesn't get involved in local
I'll
stuff.
put that right on Ed Kennedy.
Yeah.
Right on Ed Kennedy. He wanted it
Yeah.
downtown.
He doesn't get involved in local stuff.
No,
you
I don't
need
think-
help, he comes to you. They've helped. I've seen tons of charitable things they
Yeah.
did when I worked for them when I was
Yeah.
a kid. We were bag boys. Arthur used to come in. They helped lots of families. I mean,
Yeah.
But that's what
and we're
people-
not even going to be able to guess how many they helped.
That's
But
what
he
some
doesn't get
people-
involved in politics.
I know,
Yeah.
and I feel the same way you do, but
Yep.
I'm just saying what a lot of people said to me, because I was so involved in that issue. They said, you know what it was. RDT told Pangy, don't have it up here, I don't want it here. I said, I'm telling you, it was Ed Kennedy.
Right.
He was the mayor at the
Right.
time with me.
Right.
That's who made that decision
Right.
and fought hard to get it done.
Yeah.
And don't think he's leaving until the ribbons are cut on that place. He's going to do
Well-
whatever he can. Even the big issue, we got the 22 building, 20, 30 million, I don't know what it is, but Ed Kennedy is going to fight until that thing is done right, so
Well, I
I
heard
still
again this
feel
week that
good.
he's out next year.
What's
I
that?
heard again this week that he's out next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
But you know better, Bob, so you
No,
never know.
I'm just telling people,
Yeah.
they say,
Yeah.
oh, he's on.
Well,
What he has is 2 major rotor
Tommy
cuts.
Well, that's not right.
I made time to be in touch with Eddie Kennedy.
Yeah,
Eddie Kennedy texted me back, John, I just got sworn in, for God's sake. I'm not even thinking about the next election. There was no denial there at all. So,
You didn't deny it. Okay.
well, no,
the
there's,
word on
pe-
the street may be this,
What?
maybe that, but
what
right
it
now-
is you got a few people running right now for that seat. That's what you have. You got people already maneuvering, and they just better hope Eric Kitcher don't put his name in the hat, but he's not in it. He loves his job at the Greater Low Technical High School.
Well, he'd probably take a pay cut,
But if
too.
anybody in
Yeah.
this room right now, I'm leaving Greg Pappas out of this, but if anybody doesn't think Dave Nagel's working his way back, I'm telling you right now, I'll tell
He
you
is.
early, he's
Yeah.
to one seat or the other. I don't know what seat.
Yeah.
I just think he's eyeing Ed Kennedy's seat. I don't think he's eyeing the state rep seat. I really don't.
Well, the rumor I heard was that she was going to run for the
Right.
Senate, and he was going to run for his
Yeah,
old seat.
that's
there.
right.
You can't let her be in the Senate. So.
She wouldn't get out of,
What do you call it?
The Cowardly Lion?
yeah. No, she wouldn't be able to get out of Lowell. I mean, wouldn't do well
She's
in Lowell.
afraid of her own shadow.
Well, I'm just saying the towns wouldn't have any, with her record now, I'm just telling you,
But,
wouldn't work,
Well, I didn't see her in Tewksbury. And, because I was at the parade, I didn't see her in Tewksbury. And
Yeah,
that's the first time.
Yeah.
Usually the Cowardly Lions marching with all the,
right. But no ties to Drake at Tingsboro and Dunstable or Pepperell, and not gonna ever have any ties.
well, what's she done? Just give me, I'll
Well,
wait.
no, yeah, but I'm just saying politically, looking at it, if you were you're a person like that runs campaigns, which we've done statewide and stuff like that, you'd have to sit and tell her, like, you don't even have a chance.
Other than being HR for the state, getting her friends jobs, what has she done? The brain trust at the table?
Well, there's a
can you
lot of
tell
things
me?
she's done that could be used against her, is what I'm saying. And it wouldn't sell in the towns.
Good
And
point.
That's the whole point, yeah.
Yeah, before you came in, we were talking about Dave Nagel, and
Yep.
I always thought Dave came out too quick. Right away, boom, he run against her, and that's why he got beat.
Mm-hmm.
I said they should have let Arcasian, because that was the talk. I don't know his first name, I just know
Bruce,
his
I
dad,
think. Is it
Bruce.
Bruce?
No,
Oh, that's his dad's name.
That's
That's
the
his
dad,
dad's
the
name.
hockey coach.
Yeah.
His name was floating around, and he was going to run,
Right.
but Dave Nagel, to me, came out too quick,
Right.
and that's what hurt him. But now, where he's working for the bridge, helping himself out, helping other people. I see him at all the parties, dressed in a
He's-
suit, shaking everybody's hands.
Yeah.
And he has done an incredible job for a lot of people. But it was, like I said, it was his guys like Brian Hoey and Spinney, is it? Yep,
Yeah,
Bob
Bobby
Spinney.
Spinney.
Those type
He
of
made a
people
bad
there,
mistake,
helping
and-
him.
Yeah.
That's what Dave did a lot when it comes to constituent services. Got my family a job, you know what I mean? It's just, that's the way government was always. Who is going to get me something? So then they go, for years, they keep voting for the same people just because they did something good for them. But that is changing. I'm telling you, it's all a different world in my
You think you ever see
opinion,
term
Greg.
limits, Greg? You think it's, Phil Shea always said to me, term limits is every election, because you can be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But nobody's
Yeah.
going to take somebody on either.
No, that's the
But you
thing,
think you'll
yeah.
ever see it? Term limits?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, you can't, well, especially on the national level,
Yeah.
because you'd have to vote it nationwide. In most states like down south there, they're never gonna do term limits, because we're the ones that have more term limits, Massachusetts. We turn over more House members than anybody. You go down south, they're there for 50 years, and that's why they're the chairman of every committee.
You can bet a lot of
It's all
city,
seniority.
Yeah.
you can bet a lot of city councilors right now that don't have people running against them are just praying, please, nobody, please, don't come out, don't come out. Because if you come out and run against somebody,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a chance. You're gonna have a chance.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be to those areas, like you're saying. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be really.
Don't you think that Trump has the, I'd say in his fourth year, he might bring in term limits, and if he still has the Senate, he could pass it.
Yeah, but it's constitutional. It wouldn't be a federal law, yeah.
Make a federal law.
Yeah.
You can do anything with these games.
Yeah.
Make a federal law, you can only serve 3 terms, and that's it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't, you'd have to make it a constitutional amendment. You couldn't make it a federal law.
And he'll get away with it.
Well,
You'd have to
'Cause
amend
the-
the Constitution of the United
yeah,
States.
because the Constitution sets up the office of the House, the Senate, and, the president's all in there.
Changes the Constitution.
So see, the problem, John.
Let's do a new stuff.
Yeah, so see, no, I'm not saying what you, but see, the problem, John, too, is the Congress itself, as you know, is based on seniority. So they move up not on merit, but on seniority. So, like, you get the South and some parts of the Southwest that most of the chairmen.
In 1775, it's not working in 2000.
Oh, no, but that's why, that thing that Jefferson said, every 20 years you need a revolution. You can take it to whatever you say, a degree, but you do need
So if they wanted to term limit the state reps and state senators, that would be the Massachusetts Constitution have to amend, or is that
Yeah,
a
you
separate
have
law?
yeah, just like when we went from,
Or the governor,
do you remember when we were kids, the treasurer and the governor, and them were all 2 years?
Yeah.
They had to change the
Right,
state
remember that.
constitution to go
Yeah.
to 4 years.
Now we're old. We remember that
Yeah,
when they were 2
yeah,
years, yeah.
You change, it's not hard to do in Massachusetts. They have a constitutional convention every 2 years. That's too easy, I think.
Right.
But the legislature gets together and they have a con, but in Washington, you haven't had one since 76.
Yeah.
1776.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, this is my 8th election, and I'll tell any newcomer.
Or 79, whatever.
I'll tell any newcomer this. Number one thing, run scared. Run like you're going to lose. Just keep running scared.
That's what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah, and then when you've been around a little bit, run happy. Run happy. That would be the second way. Because I work for 4 different mayors. I say it all the time. In 7 years, 4 different mayors, 4 different superintendents.
Yeah.
All kinds of games being played.
Yeah.
You
It's
know what I
human
mean?
nature,
From
yeah.
Jay Lang, what happened to him? Why wouldn't we want him or his sister? I can't believe that type of stuff, but things happen in government, believe
Bobby,
me.
I had the biggest eye-opening volunteering for LTC. I used to do the city council meeting. And they have this little room where all the equipment is. And you sit there, and it got hot in that room. Probably has air conditioning in there now, but I'd sit in that room, sort of have to open the door. Now, there's nobody to talk to in that room. I'm just looking at the cameras, making sure whoever's speaking on the camera, that was your job. So all I do is listen, and you'd hear city councilors fighting in the hallway behind you.
Yeah, no.
I want you to do this, this, and this. And they're like, wow,
Yeah.
there is backroom deals going on.
Hey, I had a few arguments back there with Mr. Kula Harris, George Kula Harris. I've had a few.
Yeah.
I
You
had
look
a
at
few.
Drake, I mean, Tom will tell you too. The superintendent of schools, after Dr. Deoslaf, we had 3 very, very, very talented women who had
Yep.
PhDs. It should have been, any one of them should have been superintendent.
Yep.
And they got messed out of it.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Dr. Helen Flanagan in
You
Lowell,
know?
she got burnt in Lowell.
Yeah, and they were all great
7
ladies.
years, 4 superintendents, brothers. That say a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot.
Jesus,
Yeah, well, it's
man.
just
And they get
Lowell.
paid more than the
And
governor.
that's why I think William Skinner.
Hey, say goodbye, guys, because we're out
Yeah,
of
oh, I
time.
agree.
Have a good night.
Take care, thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Tomorrow, Cody
next week.
Belange is going to be here with Linda Bound and who else? Rick Rose coming too.
Oh, no one's, I'll tell you one thing, I didn't want to give him credit on TV. Corey Blanche is working hard.
He sure is.
I don't see how.
So I'm going to I'm going to put some music on.
See what he just said?
What?
Same thing, you can't see him winning. But,